Okay, if you want to learn how to make pickled ginger, here you go. Don't worry, this channel isn't turning into a cooking channel. I only know how to make 5 things, so even if I turned it into a cooking channel, it wouldn't last very long. Okay, so first thing you're going to need is ginger. My finding is that try to get the piece that's like the palm of your hand. It's juicier. You're going to need some rice vinegar. Now this is the first one I used. Just go to your local store and you should be able to find it. I found this in an Asian food store. It's glass. Maybe it's better than something else, I'm not sure. I found this one at Walmart. It's plastic. I don't know if the taste is that different. You're going to need some sugar, some salt, some water, pot, knife to clean the ginger, and some jars. Now if you're one of those people where everything has to be precise, this video is probably going to drive you crazy. Unless you can somehow magically figure out how much ginger you have, it's sort of going to be a guessing game. So I'll chop this stuff up, I'll put it in jars, or I'll make the pickling solution, and then I'll tell you how many jars I got and how much vinegar I used. Roughly, I keep notes because I have a bad memory, but the last time I made this, I used 3 cups of vinegar, 2 cups of water, 1.5 cups sugar, 2 tablespoons of salt, and I made 4 small ones and 3 medium ones. So it's going to be variable. The first lesson I learned is always make sure you have enough of this stuff, because one of the batches I made I ran out, and you're not supposed to use regular vinegar. It's got to be rice vinegar. So if you run out, that could be a problem. So always have extra. Okay, so the first step is to take these things and peel them down. Okay, so I peeled the ginger. Now you're going to get a pile of stuff. Now you can throw this stuff out, or what you can do, well, what I've done is I've taken it, rinsed it. I probably should have rinsed it before I peeled it, but whatever. Rinse it out because there's probably crap on there. And then what I did was boil that, and then I added some sugar or iced tea mix, lemon, and you can make yourself a nice ginger drink. But maybe that's for another video. So you peel the ginger. Now you're going to get little fragments. Just cut those off. Cut the ginger to whatever shape you want, you know. And then you just start putting it in your jars. And then you'll find out how many jars you got and how much solution you need. So I'll put these things in jars. That's the next thing to do. Okay, so after all that, I got 3 medium jars and 2 small jars. Now I've made this stuff 4 times before, and I've never had this combination of jars. So I'm just going to have to do a rough estimate, and I'll let you know what I used. So before, when I had 3 medium and 4 small, I used 3 cups vinegar. So I'm going to use less than that. But I think the trick is to write down how many jars you have and write down how much vinegar and water and sugar and salt you used each time. And then once you've done it about 5 times, you'll have a rough idea of what you need. Now, I'm not a professional sealer, but if your lid has a break on it, I would not use it. You're going to get rust. You can go to the store and buy these things pretty cheap. So if you got any damage on the sealer top, just don't use that for these purposes. Okay, next thing is to measure out how much solution I need. Okay, so once you've added your rice vinegar, your water, your sugar, and your salt, you put it on the stove, you put it on high, and you let it boil. And once it's boiled, then you put it into your jars of ginger and you seal it right away. Now the recipe that I had says you put it in the fridge, But I let mine sit on the counter for a while to cool off, and then I put them in the fridge, and that worked. So to boil is next. Okay, so it's all done. So what I did was I brought my mix to a boil, scooped it out. I sort of cheated and used one of these things. If you have one of these things, they're great. Just put that in there, poured it in, filled it up to the top, and then sealed it. Now I forgot to mention, when I was filling up these jars, make sure you pack this thing full of ginger, because if you don't, you're going to get a lot of dead space in the bottom. So even though I packed it full, I still got a bit of space on the end. So don't be afraid to pack it full. Now, for that amount, I ended up using 2.5 cups of vinegar, 1.5 cup of water, 2 cups sugar, and 1 tablespoon of salt. I'll write down the combinations that I've had so far in the description so you can see. You'll want to figure out how much stuff the vinegar will get you. So 710 milliliters got me 2.5 cups plus a little bit extra, and I just had enough to fill it up. I could have probably used a little bit more. So if I would have used this whole thing, probably would have been better, but that's fine. I had enough. Now, I know YouTube doesn't like medical advice, but I don't do this for myself. My stepfather had some digestive problems, and he really likes ginger. It helps him, or he says it helps him. So during the pandemic, I was kind of worried that he wouldn't be able to get his ginger fix. So that's when I started to pickle this. So if you like ginger, you might want to do this. Just have some as backup in case the store doesn't have any. At one point, our store wasn't getting any, or the quality of the ginger they were getting was pretty crappy. So it was a little bit of a real concern. He likes it. It's too strong for me, but I don't mind the ginger drink though. So if you take what you've got left, I guess if you live on a farm you could feed it to a pig, but what I would do is wash it, boil it, mix it with some sweetener, or, well, you don't have to, and then use that as a drink. I've already got 2 big jars of it, so I don't think I'm going to make another batch, but who knows. And there you go. That's how I made pickled ginger, and so far no complaints, although I only have 1 customer. That's it.